welcome to another virtual encounter here at the Memphis Zoo. My name is Nikki and I am with my friends Marie and Bertha, two of the chickens that call the Memphis Zoo home. Now before we go any further, let's talk about this awesome mask that I'm wearing. We do want to make sure that we are being cautious, just like all of you guys are out there. So we make sure to wear our personal protective equipment whenever around each other. And you may have heard that we have found that other mammals that are not primates and not humans can also potentially catch the COVID-19 virus. So we're being particularly cautious around all of our mammals that live here at the zoo as well. Now, my moderator, Whitney, has her face mask on and is over 6 feet away. And these chickens are birds, not mammals, so we know that they are safe and probably will not contract this virus. So I'm going to take off the mask so that you guys can hear me a little bit better. And I'm a little bit stuck. There we go. Now, I am a zookeeper here, and you know what? Being able to take care of animals every day is a dream job, but it's also a really dirty job. So one of the things that people think of when they think of zookeepers is cleaning, and you're absolutely right. That's a big part of our day. We get to do a lot of observations on our animals, we get to train, we get to make them toys, but a big chunk of our day is spent cleaning up after them to make sure that they stay nice and healthy. So you guys can see behind us, we have some of the tools of the trade, the common tools. We got rakes, shovels, buckets, scrub brushes. We'll use power tools, like power, I forgot the word for it. Power washers, there it is. and gloves, of course, to keep ourselves safe, wheelbarrows, all kinds of utensils that help us make sure everything is nice and tidy. Now, that may seem like something that just anybody can come in and do, but believe it or not, there's a right and a wrong way to use these tools and to clean up after our animals. There's actually a right way to rake and a not so right way to rake. And that's something that you have to learn in order to be a good zookeeper. So zookeepers go to school, they go to college, and they study biology, zoology, wildlife science, some other life sciences that you can get a degrees in. Personally, I went to Texas A&M and majored in biology to get started. Then we do internships, we volunteer, we do seasonal positions, and we learn from other good zookeepers how to do the proper techniques of cleaning and all the other parts of our job in order to make it just right for each of the species that are in our care. Now here at the Memphis Zoo, we have animals all as small as little dart frogs, all the way up to really big elephants. And each animal in between has their own unique needs that we have to pay attention to while we're cleaning them and caring for them every single day. Now, these two chickens are here with me today because they are very good at making messes. We're here in our interpretation lot, which is a place that they get to come and hang out, scratch around in the dirt for a little something different to do during their day. And when our visitors are here, they like to come out to meet all of you and teach people about how great chickens are. But when they're not out meeting and greeting with all of you out there, they have a home that's behind the scenes, and we have to clean it up every day. We start by raking up all of their poop, old nesting material, food they didn't eat the day before, toys they flung around. There's a whole lot of mess that we find in the morning. It always looks like the chickens had a party overnight. So once we rake up all the big chunks that they have in their homes, we'll put it in our bucket, get rid of it, and then we hose, and we hose really well. We hose anything away that we might not have been able to get with our rake. After that, we take our scrub brush and we scrub out their coop, we scrub out their nests, we scrub off their perches and any stumps that they like to sit on, scrub out their water bowl, and make sure everything is nice and clean. We also make sure to fluff up their nesting material, give them new toys, fresh food, fresh water, and all of that takes a long time and a lot of elbow grease, and that's just for a couple little chickens. Can you imagine what it would take to clean up after something as large as the tigers? So making sure that everything is nice and clean is important, and it's a really important part of a zookeeper's job to use our years of education and experience to tailor what we're doing to each individual species. That might mean wheeling wheelbarrows and wheelbarrows of big old stinky stuff away from the elephants. That also might mean making sure a spider's water bowl is clean and fresh. So each animal needs its own unique things to stay healthy. Now, if all of you guys out there at home are thinking, zookeeping might just be the career for me, you might be right. It is super rewarding. It's really great getting to take care of these animals every day. So now would be an excellent time to start honing some of the skills you'll need to be a very good zookeeper. So wash your dishes, sweep the floor, pick up your toys. Those are things that zookeepers do every single day. So go ahead and start now. It'll prepare you for a really great career later, and I bet your parents will be pretty happy about it too. Now, even though we do have to use a lot of elbow grease and get down and dirty to keep our animals clean, it is in their best interest. So it's something that zookeepers really love doing. Spending our days making sure that our animals here at the zoo get the best care that we possibly can give them so they stay clean, happy, and healthy. So it's a privilege to get to work with these ladies and all the other animals that I get to take care of to make sure that they get top-notch care. Now, if you guys at home want to help us continue to give that kind of care to our animals, it's super easy. You can go to our website and donate to our emergency relief fund or become a donor. Those dollars come here to the zoo to make sure that we have all the supplies and the staff we need to continue to give the best care to the animals that call the Memphis Zoo home. Now, I'm sure you guys have tons and tons of questions out there, so start posting them in our comment section, and we will get as many questions answered as we can.
Well, unfortunately, our Wi-Fi is a little slow right now, and Facebook is not loading. Dog Days on YouTube says hello, and
Hi, Dog Days.
I'm not getting any questions on, so I do apologize, guys. I'm trying to get it to load, but it's not participating with me.
How about this? While you guys are typing in those questions and in our internet's trying to catch up with us, I'll answer some really common questions I get about our chickens. Let's start by talking about what kind they are. You can see that there are two different kinds of chickens that we have here. Marie is called a Buff Orpington chicken, and Bertha is a Cochin Bantam chicken. Now, just like there are all different kinds of breeds of dogs, there are also different breeds of chickens. They come in all different shapes and sizes and colors, just like dogs too. So the smallest chickens in the world are the Old English Bantams. They're about this tall, all the way up to Brahma chickens, which are several feet tall. So they come in all shapes and sizes. Yeah, Whitney is surprised by that fact, but yeah, Brahma chickens are enormous. There are around 500 different recognized breeds of chickens by the American Poultry Association, but we're pretty sure there are a whole lot more different kinds of chickens in the world. In fact, there are more chickens on the planet than there are humans. The chickens were one of the very first animals that were ever domesticated by humans, so they've been living in close proximity with us for about 8,000 years. Now, all chickens, all domestic chickens, like Bertha and Marie here, have the same great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. They're the Asian jungle fowl. They were able to fly. They can get up into trees. They're a little more aggressive. They're leaner and a little bit scrappier too. But because they had thousands of years to get chickens like these domesticated chickens used to being around people, they look a lot different than their ancestors do. Now, it's pretty cool to have Bertha and Marie here because you're able to see a couple things that give us a little hint to the history of their breeds. Now, you can see that Marie has bare legs. You can just see her skin, while Bertha has those nice big fluffy legs. That gives us a hint to the environment where they were originally bred. Chickens like Bertha with those big fluffy feathers were probably bred in places that had really dry, loose soil. Having something that was muddy or extra dirty would get caught in those feathers and make them dirty. Whereas chickens like Marie could be bred in places that were a little wetter and had a little denser soil that they were walking around on. Having bare legs was a way to keep them clean. Now, chickens do take baths like we do, but they take them in a little bit of a different way. They don't roll around in water. They roll around in dust. In fact, our chickens, as part of our daily cleaning, we make sure to clean out their dustpans and give them fresh sand. So they always have fresh sand that they can roll around in and keep themselves clean. It helps keep bugs and mites off of them and encourages them to preen. But that's also why Bertha, who has white feathers, is a little bit tinged brown because she's been enjoying her dust baths. And so even though she looks a little dirty, that is clean for a chicken. Now, you guys might see on the top of Bertha's head there, she's got that red comb. Combs are the little part that's on the top of their head. She is a hen, she's a female, but males, the roosters, have a much bigger comb. And those red parts underneath her beak, those are called wattles. Wattles also are a lot larger on males. We've also seen Marie and Bertha lay eggs, so we know that they are lady chickens. Now, Buff Orpington chickens like Marie have a pretty interesting story of why they were bred. Back in the 1800s, something known as chicken fever was going around. Everybody wanted to have the coolest, flashiest chickens. That was kind of the cool thing to do. So they were breeding all different colors of chickens with different crazy feathers and sizes. but they accidentally bred out the ability to use chickens for meat and eggs. They weren't great for having that most common reason to have chickens around. So they started breeding chickens. She says she doesn't like to talk about it. They started breeding chickens that are really great for meat and eggs. And Bertha says she's sleepy. She's gonna go get in her nest and have a nap. That's okay, Bertha. Come back if you'd like. So the English people started to breed chickens that turned into kind of just the plain Jane chicken that Marie is. Now, chickens are really awesome because not only do they provide us with food, not only have they been around humans for thousands of years, they've also really helped us with some conservation efforts. Now, a lot of you guys out there might know that our national bird, the bald eagle, was in danger for a really long time. They were very endangered and on their way to extinction. One of the problems was that the pesticides that were common at the time, DDT, were causing their eggshells to get really thin. And even though bald eagles are good parents, they're just big birds, and they were accidentally cracking their eggshells. So scientists would go out into the field, collect the eggs from underneath the bald eagle parents, stick them underneath a Cochin bantam like Bertha or some other types of chickens that are really good at sitting on eggs. Once that little eagle hatched out of its egg, it would put it back under the parents, and they can raise up as a wild eagle. So chickens are a really big reason that we have bald eagles around today. So thank you, chickens. Now, it looks like our internet is back online. So, Whitney, do we have any questions that we need to get answered?
We do. Let's go through. So Stacy says she's always wondered what y'all do with the eggs they lay.
That's a great question. So the eggs they lay can be used for food for other animals. Sometimes we let them hatch out if they are fertile. So a lot of the chickens that are over in the farm hatch right here at the zoo. And some of our chickens that we work with in our education department hatch here at the zoo as well. And sometimes if we don't need them for food and we don't need them to make other chickens, sometimes we will just go ahead and get rid of them too. So it just kind of depends on what we need.
And Hazel, who's a usual on this show, age 2, with her fun commentary. Mommy chicken is what she's saying right now.
Yeah, that is a chicken. Look at that little hen.
And I do apologize, guys. You did get a little glimpse of my knee there as I was turning the camera to stay on the chickens. So sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, Jennifer Brock sent us 2,000 stars. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer.
And Amy said she's just joining. I think she wants to know what kind of chickens we're looking at.
Sure. We have 2 chickens. We've got Marie, who you guys can see, and Bertha's off on her own program, which is normal for Bertha. Marie is a buff Orpington chicken, and if Bertha decides to wander back over here, you guys will see that she is a Cochin bantam. Love it, love it.
Let's go back to YouTube. So they're still kind of slowly rolling in here, but that is, we've got some commentary, just so few hellos. Aaron and Allison both say they love chickens.
Hi, Aaron and Allison. Yeah, chickens are the best, and you guys know I'm a big chicken fan myself.
Oh, and Alyssa now just sent us 50 stars.
Hey, thanks, Alyssa.
Oh, she got off camera.
That's the great thing about this lot. They're able to walk around and make the choices that we like to give our animals, but that also means that they're not necessarily going to stay in frame. You guys might have seen just a second ago their carrier that we have over there. It has some nice nesting material in it. That does live in there holding them in their home, so they always are comfortable going in and out of it. They do like to lay eggs in there a lot. It's also what they travel in, but that's not what they live in. So a lot of times you'll see our animals, especially our education animals that come out and about to meet you guys, traveling around in carriers. And that's kind of like a car seat for a little kid. It's not something they live in, but it does keep them nice and safe while we're traveling around.
Well, everyone's very excited we can ask questions again.
Yeah.
Gavin, age 7, wants to know, why do they have spikes on their head?
Yeah, so those things that you see on the top of their head, Gavin, are called combs, kind of like we would comb our hair. And that's kind of natural built-in air conditioning. So if it gets really hot, the blood that goes through that comb is cooled off by the wind, and as it goes back through their body, it helps keep the rest of them cool. Hens like Bertha and Marie, who are out here today, have pretty small combs, but roosters have much bigger combs on their head. So when you compare the two, you can usually tell the difference between the boys and the girls just by looking at that comb on their head and those red things on their cheeks, which are called wattles.
Oh, nice. I know Bertha, she's making
eggs. That's something unique of her breed, are wetter and have more dense soil. And chickens like Bertha there on screen have those fluffy legs. And those chickens are typically bred in places that are drier and sandier because the feathers on their legs can get a little dirtier if they're in the mud. And you might notice too that Bertha does have some brown tinting to her feathers. That's because it's a strange thing to us, but chickens stay clean by rolling around in the dirt and the sand. So she was having a big time in her sand pan today, and it's kind of wandered off again, also under her own program, totally normal. But because she was rolling around in the sand, she's a little bit dingy today. So please forgive her. She is clean even though she doesn't look like it.
Okay, you might want to reposition. I don't know how well they're going to be able to hear you anymore as we keep moving the phone around.
All right, let's move over here where you guys can hear a little bit better. There we go. So what other questions do we have out there?
Let me get back to them. We dropped out again, guys. I do apologize. The Wi-Fi is not our friends today, and I think it actually interrupted our feed there for a second. But it looks like we're back on.
Well, I know that this week we are doing keeper features. A lot of people are used to doing us doing the creature features, but we also get a lot of questions about ourselves, not just the animals that we get to work with. So a lot of people don't realize how much work it goes into being a zookeeper. So if you are interested in maybe growing up to be a zookeeper, now's a great time to start researching that, or any other career that you might be interested in when you grow up. But if you want to be a zookeeper, a great way to start is by getting some animal experience when you can. So we have a volunteer program here at the zoo, which you can check out online to get more information about that. That's actually how I became a zookeeper. Also going to college to get an education in the life sciences is really important. I'm a biology major from Texas A&M, Gigamags. But also other degrees like zoology, wildlife science, and other life science degrees are also really important. There are even teaching colleges that will specifically teach you how to be a zookeeper. So that's always something you can do too. I know several friends who have a degree from a university in biology, zoology, something like that, but then also went to school to get a certification in zookeeping. Now, once you get your degree, you got to do some experience work too, so getting internships, volunteering, seasonal positions to learn the proper techniques for how to care for each individual animal in your care is also really important. So it's a lot of hard work to get the education experience that you need in order to take care of the animals that live at the zoo, and also always question yourself and learn more so we always give the best care possible to our animals.
All right, Joy would like to know, how do you know an egg is fertile?
Oh, that's a really good question. So once an egg is laid, you want to keep it nice and warm as if it were going to be incubated, and then you can do something called candling. Candling is given that name because back in the day, before there was electricity, you would actually hold up the egg to a candle in a dark room, and you'd be able to see the yolk inside to see if there is a little spot that starts to show up in the egg when it's fertile. Today we have special machines that we use, which is basically just like an LED light that kind of focuses the light. So we'll turn all the lights off, you get really close to that special LED that's a candling light, and you hold it up, and when you move it very gently around, you can see that little dot starting to form that will eventually become the chicken as the embryo grows. So that's how you can check for fertility.
All right, and Gallimimus on YouTube, sand baths, similar to how large mammals use mud and sand baths to keep away parasites?
That is exactly right. That's a great way to think about it. You know, humans like to jump in the water and use soap to clean ourselves, but not all animals do that. Sometimes the best thing to do is get dirty in order to get clean. So chickens and some of those other animals that you mentioned will use sand or mud in order to get the bugs and parasites off of them. And so that's a really great way for them to stay clean, even though they have to get in the dirt.
Every time I look to see a question, they're moving on me.
They like to keep you on your toes.
They did a great job today. Benita would like to know, how many different species of chickens do you have at the zoo and in the Mid-South?
Oh, that's a great question. So I have no idea how many breeds of chickens there are specifically in the Mid-South. Here at the zoo, we have at least 3 kinds of chickens, but I haven't been over to the farm in a couple of weeks, so there might be cooking up something over there. That was a bad phrase. They might be working on growing some other chickens over there. Sorry, guys. So we have at least 3 breeds of chickens: Buff Orpingtons, Rhode Island Reds, and Cochin Bantams. You can see the Buff Orpington and Cochin Bantam here in front of you guys. There are about 500 different breeds of chickens recognized the American Poultry Association, but there are probably a whole lot more of that throughout the world that just aren't recognized by that American Poultry Association. There are actually more chickens in the world than there are humans. Now, I like the way that you worded your question, because that brings up a really good point that a lot of people don't realize. There's a difference between species and breed. So chickens are in, their scientific name is Gallus gallus gallus. that is the domesticated chicken's name. So everything that is in the Gallus genus is related. They're cousins, but there's lots of different birds that are in that genus, including their great grandmother and grandfathers, their great ancestors, the Asian jungle fowl, which we still have on Earth today. They're just really distant relatives now, but that's where domesticated chickens come from. Breeds are different because breeds are all the same kind of species. So just like there are different breeds of dogs, there are different breeds of chickens. But, you know, dogs are different than wolves. They're different species, but all dogs are the same species, even though obviously a Dalmatian and a Chihuahua don't look quite the same.
I'm trying to follow Bertha at this point.
Good luck.
Yeah, right? Okay, so we've got Tracy. Do you feed them regular chicken food or something special?
Yeah, they get chicken food. So chickens are omnivores. They like to eat plants and meat. They love using those long toes to scratch around in the ground and pull up bugs and grubs, which is one great reason to have them around on farms and in our backyards, is because they eat a lot of the pests that bother us and maybe mess with our food sources.
They are moving
I
forward.
have distracted myself by how cute our chickens are. What was the question again, Winnie?
Do you feed them regular chicken food or something special?
Yes. So
Basically, what are they
also
eating
they not only get their bugs that they love so much here at the zoo, they also do get specially made poultry food, but that's something that's available for poultry, not just here at the zoo, but at farms as well. They also get a variety of greens and different produce that they like to eat. Bertha has found my treats, and she's helping herself. Good job, Bertha. Proud of you. So they do get a variety of things, but it is a specialized diet just to make sure that they're getting the variety of nutrients that they need in order to be healthy, and they keep a good weight. But all the things that we feed them are common for chickens, for zoos, and for personal use too.
Okay, and Daniel would like to know, do we clip their wings?
Good question. We do not clip their wings, and we don't really have to. Chickens aren't great flyers. They can go pretty low, so they could go to like a low branch if they needed to get away from a predator, or maybe get away from danger, or even just sleep at night, but they can't go very far. But these chickens that you are looking at here are some of our education chickens. They have actually been raised to be comfortable being around people and being in weird environments, so they can come out and teach people about chickens and how great they are in ways that we can help not only chickens but animals all over the world. So they are raised and trained in a way that lets them know that when they're with us, they are safe, and at any point they want to go back into their travel carrier, it's open and ready for them. Or if they show me any kind of concern that maybe a hawk is around or something that might be scary, then we'll go ahead and take them back out of this spot. But they don't really have any reason to try to hop out or fly away, because they know when they're with us, they are safe. So no reason to clip their wings.
All right, and of course, Sandra just sent us 50 stars. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra.
We really appreciate that, guys. And so everyone knows that stars are donations to us, which, of course, today is Giving Zoos Day. I don't know if everyone knows that.
Giving Zoos Day. Now's a great time for you guys to send those stars, donate to our emergency relief fund, or even become a member. Those dollars are really important to make sure that we continue to have the supplies and staff to give the best quality care possible to not only our chickens, but all the animals that call them at the zoo.
Oh, yeah. And Nikki, you're kind of new here, but did you know that if you bought a ticket now, it actually will last the entire year?
It'll last the entire year?
Entire year.
Now's a great time to buy tickets.
Right? So you can plan out your time. You have all the way to 2021.
That would be perfect. So that's another great way that you guys can help, and something fun to look forward to. So snag those tickets online. Our website has a ton of information for you guys on ways that you guys can help, and also ways that you can get ready to come back and join us at the zoo when we are able to open.
People are kind of sometimes asking if the camera froze. I'm like, no, she's just not moving. She's being very still.
She's being observant, just like a good chicken does.
We saw some friends coming by. They saw some trucks drive by. That's our IT and tech guys, just making sure we are set to go and it's going to be nice and safe when we do finally reopen. We've had some questions about when we're going to reopen. We don't have a date yet for that, but we are in contact with the city at all times. So any more messaging, please private message us and I'll be happy to give you more details. Let's see. Oh, here's a fun for Richard. How many chicken breeds lay eggs?
How many chicken breeds lay eggs? They all lay eggs. But it depends on the breed of chicken of how many they lay at a time, how many they lay in a year, and even what color egg they lay. Now, if you guys out there like me, you love eggs. So raise your hand. Not yet, Marie. I haven't even asked the question. Raise your hand out there if you like to eat white eggs. All right. How about if you like to eat brown eggs? Okay, a lot of hand raising out there. Now, there is actually no difference between the two, but there is some good marketing. A lot of people think that brown eggs, all brown eggs are organic and all white eggs are not organic, or they're free range or something like that. But that has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with the breed of chicken that it came from. There are even chickens that lay green eggs. They're called Easter egg chickens. So they come in all different shapes, sizes of eggs, different colors, and it just depends on the breed. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a hint as to what color egg they're gonna lay by looking at their ears. Chickens with red ears typically lay white eggs, and chickens with brown ears typically lay brown eggs.
I kind of feel like Bertha was laughing at my expense now, as I definitely buy brown eggs.
Yeah, I buy brown eggs too, but being able to work with chickens and also feeling the quality of the shell in some of those cage-free and free-range eggs makes me want to support that, because I know that the egg shells that are nice and thick have really good high nutrition, and so those chickens are definitely happy chickens.
So that's
and
really
I like to live my life as if I'm striving for the happiness of a chicken with the worm, so I support happy chickens.
I'm totally okay with that. I like to think that every burger I eat came from a very happy cow. I don't think she liked that joke.
She's like, let's not talking about it.
Oh, Chris just sent us 2,000 stars.
2,000 stars. Thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate that.
And Jennifer wants to tell us, love you too. You are so amazing with these encounters. Now, is it the chickens or us? I don't know, but I want to take it maybe towards us.
I think we can all take a little credit for that. Thanks so much for that compliment. We appreciate it. Marie and Bertha say thank you too.
They do. Although Bertha's off doing her own thing again, I see.
Yeah. Bertha's always on her own program, but that's why we love her. You know, a lot of people think that animals that are not mammals are just kind of walking around doing their own thing. They don't really think too much. They don't have much personality, but every animal is an individual. And being able to have the blessing of getting to work with so many different species. I get to work with animals that are invertebrates, reptiles, amphibians, birds, mammals. I get to work with all different kinds of animals, and every single one is unique in its own way. Even our spiders have a little bit of a personality. Some of them are a little more outgoing. Some of them prefer a little more space. The same thing is true of our chickens. So Marie's usually right in the thick of things, trying to figure out what's going on. And Bertha likes being around people, but she just kind of tends to wander off. And then she's like, oh, you guys are over there, and she'll come back.
So maybe she has like chicken ADD. You know, it's so interesting too, because I mean, this is a good time to talk about the difference between a zookeeper and an interpreter. Because when I try to explain who I'm out here with, most people, my friends, they don't understand what zoo interpretation really means.
Yeah, so interpreters are also zookeepers. I am a zookeeper. I clean and train and enrich and feed and medicate and do all the things that a zookeeper does. I also get to specialize in talking to our guests. It's something that all zookeepers want to do, because we like to tell you guys not only about the animals that we take care of, but also how you can be good stewards of their wild counterparts. But interpreters like myself and my other interpreter coworkers here at the zoo have special training to make sure that we are ready to go out there and be in the public to teach you guys as much as possible about our animals and ways that you can take care of them around the world. So I am what's called a certified interpretive guide through the National Association for Interpretation. So I went to class to make sure to learn some of those techniques of how to help you guys not only understand the facts about our animals and conservation issues, but also help you understand why it matters to you. So a little bit earlier, if you happened to miss out, we were talking about why chickens are so important. Not only do they have a really long history here with humans, they've been with humans for over 8,000 years. They were one of the first animals to be domesticated, but they also help bring back our national bird. So the bald eagle was struggling a lot quite a few decades ago because pesticides were making their eggshells really thin. Eagles are good parents, but they're big birds and they were accidentally cracking their eggs. So conservation scientists would go out into the field, collect the eggs from under the eagle parents and give them a fake one to sit on for the time being. They would take those eggs and put them under chickens like the Cochin Bantams, like Bertha over there, and some other breeds of chickens that are really good at sitting and incubating on eggs. Once those eggs hatched out and the little eaglet was hatched, they put the eaglet back underneath its parents in the wild so it could raise up out there. So chickens are a really important way that we were to help boost up the bald eagle population. So thank you, chickens. Appreciate that.
That's such an interesting way to see how these animals can help each other out. We do have Katie, age 10, wants to know, how old are these chickens?
That's a great question, Katie. So there are two different ages. They weren't hatched at the same time, but Bertha's about 3 years, Marie's about 3 years old, and Bertha's about the same too, but they just weren't hatched at the exact same time.
Oh, here's a fun one. Is it true that chickens can turn their heads all the way around 180 degrees?
Yeah, they can't turn it all the way around, but they do have a really big range. So chickens are something that a lot of animals like to eat, so it's important that they stay alert and have adaptations that help them keep an eye for predators. They have extremely good eyesight. They are very good, have very good eyesight. So a lot of times they'll spot things around. They'll just stop and stare at something, and it takes us a long time to even figure out what they're looking at, because they'll spot something long before us humans do. They also can see into the UV spectrum, so they see a lot more colors than we do. We think that that's really helpful for them as they're scratching around in the dirt, because they're able to see the lights of the bugs and the different food they eat a lot better, and it helps them pick out the food that they want to eat. So they also need to be able to turn their heads up to look at the sky where some predators might be, and also around, but they can't turn their heads all the way around.
All right, Marie, just about out of my camera space here.
She likes to be very
So
close.
we are getting really nice view here of this little tuft behind her ear.
Yeah, I think she just stood up a little too much. But yeah, you can see that little tuft right behind her ear. So chickens don't have ears like we do. They don't have all those lobes, but they do have little holes on the side of their head that allow them to take in sounds. It's just covered up by feathers. So those little tufts that you can see on the side of her head are her little, hi Bertha, welcome back, are her little feather tufts that cover up her ears.
I see
All
Bertha
right. Bertha decided to come back to see what we were doing.
making a reappearance like, hey, what's going on? Probably looking for more food.
Yeah.
All right, so we've answered Vita's question, mentioned the colors of the chicken's ears, and now where are they located, which is right. And we got a nice, great view thanks to Marie coming right up to the camera. Well, guys, we are getting towards the end of our segment, so if there's anything else you want to put in there, please put it in the comments before we wrap it up today.
Yeah, I think we might have time for maybe 2 more questions.
Mostly it's just a lot of hellos, and we get a lot of we miss the zoo. So, guys, I promise you we're working hard to make sure that we're going to open just as soon as we can. Of course, as I say that,
we sure do appreciate all those shout outs, you guys. We're really glad that we're able to join you guys, and we'll keep doing these virtual wild encounters, so you can keep joining us at 12:30 on weekdays, and hopefully we will get to see you sooner rather than later. We all miss you guys, but in the meantime, please continue to stay safe, keep that social distancing up, and continue to make good, safe choices, not only for yourselves but for the rest of us, so that we can get out and about and enjoy the company of each other again soon. In the meantime, check out our website for any updates and also ways that you can help out. You can actually go ahead and buy tickets now that are good all year. You can donate to our emergency relief fund, and you can even become a member, which are all really great ways to help us continue to provide the best care possible until you get to come back. But for now, I think that we are going to see if Marie and Bertha want to head back home to hang out with their buddy Donny that's back home, and we will see you guys tomorrow for another Keeper feature where we talk about another aspect of what makes a good zookeeper. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.